Welcome to this week's episode of The Savvy Author. I'm your host, literary consultant Clara Rose. If this is your first time with us, welcome. I invite you to join us every week as we talk about all of the moving parts that are required when you're writing and publishing your book. If you've been here before with us, welcome back, my friend. So this week, we are talking about something really exciting. First, I have to say, if you showed up last week for the show and you were fully expecting to see me in Dallas live at a book launch, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you showed up and that didn't happen. But let me tell you why. We were in a coliseum, a stadium, with thousands of women. And you know, with thousands of women, two things were true. One, it was loud, my friend. It was so loud in there. But every one of those women in there had a device. Some of them two devices, so their phone and their tablet or a laptop. And there was no way that I was going to get Wi-Fi to pull off a show. So I apologize if you showed up last week for the show and we weren't here. But I am super excited because this week we're going to talk about what happened at the event last week. So before we get to our guest, who's going to be with us shortly, I have a little clip that I want to show you from the book signing last Friday. Okay, savvy authors, welcome to this week's show. You probably recognize Tresa, one of my newest authors, and it's out! It's here!
Yes.
We have done it. We are so excited.
And we sold out.
And we sold
out.
out at the arena event, the Women's Real Estate Investors Network. Tresa, of course, is the founder. You probably you remember that from the show that she was guesting on. Here's her book. Get your hands on a copy of this book. It is life-changing. So tell me, my friend, is this the most exciting thing?
It is the most exciting thing to just get it out there into the world. I'm so excited about
Getting your hands on it. How did it feel when you took it out of the box the first time?
It was amazing. Actually, I didn't take it out of the box. I walked out of a meeting and I walked into my office and somebody had put it on my desk. And so I looked down and I saw it. I just like, oh my gosh! I had to run out in the hall and say, did you see my book? Yes.
It's the most wonderful feeling.
It's such a great feeling.
And it was a journey.
Yeah.
Right? It took us 16 months.
I remember us putting all the little stickers on the board.
The Brainstorming Blueprint.
I have those pictures of us putting those.
I do too. Do you want to know something crazy? Yet it's Friday morning. I got up, and Daniel can confirm this, on my phone. When pictures pop up, like little reminder pictures.
The memories?
It was the Brainstorming Blueprint we did.
So it was exactly?
No.
Oh, it just happened to pop up. Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
I'm like, this is pictures of the Brainstorming Blueprint we did when we mapped out the book that we're launching today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome.
It was so fun to have this experience with you.
I appreciate you. You helped my dream come true.
It was so much my pleasure. I will see you guys next week on the Savvy Author Show. Thanks for tuning in again.
Yes.
Thank you, my friend.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
So had you actually been able to see that happen live, that's what you would have seen last Friday when you showed up. But I have something more exciting than that. I have Tresa Todd with me here today to talk about her book. Welcome, my friend.
Hello, Clara.
So have you recovered from the weekend yet?
No, I have not. I have not. I'm still, I was on such a high that I just haven't been able to sleep. So, but I'm getting a few hours a night, and it's taken me a while to get caught up.
Sure. I totally expected that. And your poor little feet, you had the cutest shoes all weekend long to match your adorable outfits. But I thought every time she came out in a new pair of shoes, I'm like, those hurt. I know those hurt.
They hurt.
They hurt.
It did hurt.
But they looked awesome. So, that's all that
No
counts.
pain, no gain, right?
That's
The
right.
things we do as women, the things we do.
The things we do. So Friday was super exciting when we launched the book. The book signing, super fun as well. But something really exciting happened overnight Sunday. What was that?
Oh my gosh. After 3 days of just being immersed in everything, it was all amazing. I'm thinking, okay, it's over. And then Monday morning, I woke up to find that my book was a #1 bestseller.
So exciting. Every author aspires to that. So exciting. Amazing.
Now, I am ecstatic. I am absolutely ecstatic.
So of course the event helped, right? That's normal. And that was strategic and intentional on our part, right?
Yeah.
We did that on purpose, but it doesn't guarantee. You're never guaranteed bestseller status, so you just prep and pray. Prep and pray.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
So that was super exciting that actually happened. And the women there, thousands of women, right? Thousands of women were so wonderful and so excited about the book. And it was my favorite book launch ever. So much fun.
It was just so precious. The entire thing was just absolutely precious, and I guess that's why I can't get over it. It was just so emotional, and I mean, and I don't know, just putting your book out there in the world is awesome in itself, and then for it to make the #1 bestseller is just unbelievable.
Super exciting. And then something else happened Monday. Later that day, or was it the next day?
Yeah,
right?
it was the next day. So, I have to be completely honest. I've been teasing that I can't even get any work done because I keep going to Amazon to see because that it's not going to stay bestseller for long.
Right.
But then on Tuesday morning when I woke up, it was the #1 new release.
That is crazy.
And it's still there. I literally checked right before we went live, and it's still the #1 new release. And oh my gosh, it's just incredible. Incredible. But and I have not confirmed this, Clara, but it might be the only #1 book in the real estate investing category that's ever been written by a woman.
Oh, we should find that out.
I'm trying to check it out and see, but wouldn't that be amazing?
Yes, because all weekend long, #1s happened, right?
Yes.
Right? So tell us about some of those #1s.
So we made history in the fact that there were thousands of women in one room. Real estate investing. I mean, because it is a very male dominant industry. And so there are tons of events for men or even for co-ed for real estate investing. But this is the first time that there has ever been an all women's event for real estate investing with thousands of women present.
See, that's amazing right there. I mean, that in itself we made history. And
we did.
What other kind of history? I know you talked about it a couple times. What have we made history again?
Well, I mean, so some of these were my students and then some, this was their kind of first, maybe even being in the presence of and learning about real estate investing. But I was absolutely floored at the success of my students. I literally could not believe the success of my students. I mean, and just to see their portfolios and how much money that they have profited and the properties that they have acquired in such a short time was just so exciting. It was so fun to celebrate them and see them doing amazing things and breaking records for themselves. And, the whole thing was about living a legacy as well as leaving a legacy. And these ladies are certainly doing that.
It was super exciting for sure. You know what? I loved Brooke Thomas.
Oh,
She
yes.
was amazing. I mean, you had a lot of amazing speakers there, but she, we heard her several times in the different, breakouts or whatever. She was just amazing. So since we've gotten back, my assistant Danielle and I, at every turn, you go, girl.
Well, I know. Us too. I think that we're definitely going to adopt that in the Women's Real Estate Investors Network.
Absolutely.
So,
Super
and that's
fun.
what we should be doing, is cheering women on.
Yes.
There's no time and no, for jealousy and all of that. I mean, this is the time. You've heard me say this, Clara, and I believe it with all my heart. There's never been a time in history. There's never been a better time in history to be a woman. This is our season to flourish, and we need to be cheering each other on, helping each other reach our dreams, and that is what's happening inside the Women's Real Estate Investors Network.
It truly is. It truly is. And to hear the women standing up on that stage talking about the impact that investing in real estate has made on their lives, right?
Yes.
Phenomenal, crazy. And the speakers, crazy, right?
Yeah.
Lisa Bevere, wow. I got to get my hands on the Lioness book for sure.
Yes.
'Cause I haven't read that. But her, I don't know if it was a sermon. It was kind of sermonish, right? It was
absolutely.
Yeah, when she spoke, and then the worship service was phenomenal, like crazy.
It was out of this world. The common theme that I'm hearing is it was a business event.
Right.
But I am telling you what, we definitely, I am faith-based. And so everything we do, we bring God into the middle of it. And so on Sunday morning of this business event, we had full-blown worship with the band, and it was absolutely amazing. Amazing.
It was amazing. It was impactful, was what it was.
Yes. Yes.
So I didn't know about the worship service when I was talking about the event in advance, so I didn't capture the names of, there was like somebody from who led worship, she's a famous singer, right?
She's a student of mine. Yeah. So Meredith Andrews is a praise and worship leader based out of Nashville. And she is also a student in the Women's Real Estate Investors Network. So she led the praise and worship. And then I attend Gateway Church here in Dallas, Frisco. And so we had our praise and worship band from Gateway Church show up. And then my middle son has an amazing girlfriend who I just love dearly. And she is a praise and worship leader. So Meredith and Lita both led the praise and worship. So it was spectacular.
It was spectacular. It was. The whole weekend was pretty amazing. And the fact that this was the first time that you guys have done a large conference.
Yes.
And the fact that you lived through it. Right?
You are not
darn
kidding.
amazing right there.
It was. I would be lying if I said it was probably not one of the most stressful things I have ever done. And we waited, we knew we were going to put on an event, but we didn't know that it was going to be of this category and of this size.
Right.
And it just kept growing. And then, the speaker lineup was incredible. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we literally put that whole thing on in 4 months.
That's
in 4
crazy.
months.
That's crazy
Yeah.
right there.
And had, counting virtual and everything, pretty close to 4,000 women in attendance. And
pretty impressive.
yeah, it was my team. I'm so grateful to my team because they worked hard we all worked hard to make that happen.
And they were wonderful. They were really, really wonderful. And I have spoken at a lot of events personally as a speaker, and you don't always get that in your staff, right?
Yes.
But everyone was so accommodating and wonderful, and anything that I needed, they were just right there for me.
I am blessed. I have a fantastic team. I'm so proud of them.
Amazing. Okay, so we have time, so let's talk about the speakers and what that came and spoke. Let's talk about them real quick.
So I mean, I don't even know where you start. They were all amazing, but Barbara Corcoran, oh my gosh, she is hilarious.
She is. I didn't know that.
Hilarious.
I never
Yeah,
knew.
you know, I did not realize that as well until I knew when I had my, we all talked behind the, a couple of weeks before the event. We had a Zoom call, and I picked up then. I was like, okay, she is fun. But then when she showed up on stage, oh my gosh, she was the comedic relief in that whole thing. She was just amazing. And then Jamie Kern Lima is just precious.
Precious.
Yeah. And her story is so powerful. How she just pushed through, starting It Cosmetics from her living room in an apartment in New York to ending up selling that thing after a lot of years of heartache for $1.2 billion.
Yep.
And she's so humble and so kind and just precious. You already mentioned Lisa Bevere. Oh my gosh, she has just been someone that I have read almost all of her books and have been listening to her for 30 years. And so to have her speak at the event was a dream for me.
Yeah. And she was she was out and about wandering around, talking to people and signing books and just
I didn't even realize that because I was so busy during the event until I saw the after pictures and I saw people posting their pictures with her. And I thought, she's so precious.
So sweet. So sweet.
Yes. And then, you already mentioned Brooke, who has become a great friend of mine. And I will tell you, she was there. She stayed all 3 days. And she was just there behind the scenes, helping me, encouraging me, doing things, for me. So I'm so grateful for her. And then Patrice Washington, oh my God.
Yeah.
She is a force.
Yes.
She was amazing. And I have heard her a couple of times and have listened to her podcast, but I'll tell you what, her presence on the stage was phenomenal.
Yeah, impressive for sure.
Yes. And then I think we've mentioned everybody else, but Elena Cardone. Oh my goodness.
Right.
She was fire. That's how we ended we ended the conference. She was our last speaker and she was just fire. So much. She just dropped one nugget after another. I so enjoyed. We did an interview kind of a style and I just so enjoyed that with her.
Oh, we forgot Genevieve.
Genevieve. How can we forget her?
We can't forget. She was amazing too.
She was amazing. She did a Q&A for a solid hour and just on design and Yeah,
I came away from that with some good nuggets too. Like, here's a designer.
Absolutely.
Pay attention, right? Pay attention to what she's saying. Yeah, she was amazing too. Okay, so the event was amazing. The book made bestseller, but you also have another thing, because you're always doing something new and exciting. You have a new podcast, my friend.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
It is Without Fear of Her Future podcast.
Of course it is.
That's the name of my training as well and my book. So my trainings that I do online are called Without Fear of Her Future. My book is Without Fear of Her Future. And then the podcast is Without Fear of Her Future. So, and because that's in two ways for me is, first of all, I want to help women not to be fearful of their future because they have planned financially. Right. And the Proverbs 31 woman, she was planning for her future. And that's why she could laugh without fear of her future. But then also, I bring my faith very strongly into everything that I do. And I want to share my faith with women so that they all know that they are heaven bound and there is no fear of their future spiritually as well. So excited to launch. That's going to play every Friday. We will release a new podcast and we already have. So today releases number 2 and they are both fantastic. They're interviews with a few of my students that you are just going to hear their stories and it's going to be so mind-blowing when you hear about their success in 1 year's time, what they have been able to accomplish.
Wow. And so where can we find this podcast?
Well, any place that you can go and listen to a podcast. So
Okay.
Spotify and all the places, just put in Without Fear of Her Future. And we should pop right up.
How exciting. And you're doing this with Andrea.
Yes.
Right,
So
so co-host with
Andrea
Andrea?
is, well, she's one of our REEN coaches. REEN is Women's Real Estate Investors Network. And she is one of our coaches. She's the business coach. And oh my gosh, she emceed the event. And wasn't she amazing?
She really was
It is
amazing.
amazing.
Which doesn't
And
surprise me because she's pretty phenomenal anyway, right?
She
But
is.
she did a great job.
Oh my gosh, she is just, oh, I can't say enough about her. And so her and I are doing this together. And so that is fantastic. Just to have the opportunity to work alongside her has been so much fun.
So you are doing the smart thing and surrounding yourself with the right people, with the right talents.
Yes.
Strategic and intentional, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we totally run out of time, I just want to backtrack a little bit to the book process because we're really here today I wish that I had like confetti falling, like on the front of the book, there's like confetti falling. And that was my dream for the launch, that there would be confetti falling or, fake confetti on the screen falling or something. I'm like, we couldn't pull that off. And nobody wants to clean up the confetti when you're done. Right? But that was my vision. I'm like, wouldn't it be awesome? Because there's confetti on the book, confetti should fall, but
I'm going to show you all the book while she's talking.
There you go.
All
So
the confetti.
so that would have been perfect to have confetti falling and even here today. But really it is about saying congratulations on doing something two things. One, like 90% of the world says, I'm going to write a book. And like 2% ever do.
Wow.
So congratulations on being one of those people who actually did it.
Well, I thank you because you made it very simple. I mean, you really, really did. I was able just to pour out my heart and pour out what I wanted to share. And so I have been telling people I did the talking and you did the typing.
Right.
And so it was just a simple process. And I'm so grateful.
And it was absolutely my pleasure to be a part. I learned a ton, but you also inspired me, right? And I haven't talked about it publicly, but you inspired me to make changes in my own life just from personal development. I mean, I've already been dabbling in real estate investing for, well over a year. I call it dabbling because, I have a full-time business that I run. So I dabble at that, but more and more that makes money, right? So maybe someday I'll more than just dabble, but I just became inspired by your tenacity, I guess is the best word, right? You're just she gets up at 5:00 so that she can spend the time with the Lord, and she can, just has this morning schedule that includes working out. And so at the beginning of this year, my daughter and I started going to the gym, right? So 5 days a week I go and I work out, which is the first time ever in my entire life that I have ever done that.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
That just makes my heart so happy, Clara.
And I'm feeling stronger, and I'm losing weight and I'm just getting healthier, but it's not as much about that as it's about me taking control, right?
Absolutely.
And you inspired me to do that. So
well, thank you. I'm so excited. The one thing that I learned whenever I began to work out is when we learn that we can do hard things,
right,
then it just gets easier and easier, and we find ourselves doing braver things and harder things, and that's how we accomplish goals.
Right.
Is when we can break through a mindset that just because it's hard, we're not going to give up or we're not going to quit. We're going to push through.
And I'm a goal setter. I always have goals, tons of goals, and I'm great with goals. But that particular one was one that I just didn't want to do. Right?
You got it. You go, girl.
You go, girl. That's right. So we are just about out of time, but I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. Congratulations on hitting bestseller. I'm so proud.
Thank you.
It was such a wonderful process. We do have a Brainstorming Blueprint. Gosh, we're running out of time, so we don't even have time to talk about it. But the Brainstorming Blueprint was the first step of getting this book done. Tell just really quickly how important that first piece of the process was.
Again, it was fun and it was so easy. And you just flew out here, and we had a board behind us, and we just started talking about what did I want in the book, and we put little sticky notes, and then we started putting them in order. Like, okay, this would go under this chapter, and this would go. So literally within a day, we had all of the chapter titles and what kind of information was going to go in under each title. And then it was just super fun, exciting, and again, just easy, Clara.
And we ended up with a firm foundation so that when we started writing the book, we knew what we were working on. And that is the point of the Brainstorming Blueprint. Okay, we're out of time, but thank you for being here. Congratulations again, and let us talk again soon, my friend.
All right. Well, thank you, Clara, for helping me create a book and making a dream come true.
It was my pleasure. See you later. Bye. Okay, that was Tresa Todd, founder of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and best-selling author, right? And #1 new release. We just got back from the Women's Real Estate Investors Network live event last weekend. It was super exciting. Thank you for sharing today with me. I do want to say before I go, we're almost out of time, but I want to talk really quickly about the summer session of the Brainstorm and Blueprint. Happens quarterly. This is summer session. Registration is now open. This is where we get together for 6 weeks. It's a group coaching program. We're going to capture those book ideas that are floating around in your head, and then we're going to organize those ideas into topics that are going to make sense to your reader. We're going to create an outline for your book. The industry calls that a book build, but I love the term blueprint because it's the roadmap that we're going to follow. It's like we're building a house, and then we're going to create a strategy for the successful creation and publishing of your completed manuscript. You do not have to do this alone. Get somebody to help you, guide you through the process, and that's what the masterclass does. And I would love for you to join me in the summer session. You can go to clararose.com/masterclass, or just browse down the page where it talks about the Brainstorming Blueprint and say, yes, I'm in. Get signed up for summer session. It starts in June, and you too could have your book on the shelves before next year, or at least by next year. All right, my friends, I'm out of time, but I will see you next Friday when we have another episode of the Savvy Author Show. Thanks for joining me today.